You have a trilogy out now. Two are out.
Yeah.
One's coming out soon. Tell us about it.
Well, the first book was Natchez Burning, and it's about 800 pages, enough to kill your neighbor with. But it's about the South, and it's based on some real-life race murders in the South. And though they're fictionalized, it's proved to be sort of a prescient and timely book because civil rights has suddenly erupted in the country as such a mainstream issue. And because of that, I think it's why the Hollywood community was so interested in doing something with it.
Right, because it just got picked up for an Amazon series.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's very exciting.
It is, and you know, in the past I've done one feature film before, but my books are generally too complicated to be Hollywood films. But with the advent of True Detective and Game of Thrones, we've entered this extended format where you have 10 hours of TV time, so you can deal with complex novels. Like Caleb Carr's The Alienist is finally going to be made, but Natchez Burning turned out to be perfect for that because of its length and. Producing with Tobey Maguire and the guy from Friday Night Lights, and I hope for once we can do a great piece of work about the South. Most things about the South are terrible.
Yeah, and you grew up in Mississippi, correct? So you're an authority on the subject.
I grew up half a mile from the spot where they had the biggest Ku Klux Klan rally in the history of the United States. Yes, and there were over a dozen murders within a 30-mile race murders within a 30-mile radius of where I grew up, really. So that's the basis of the book. Right.
And then, so for the TV series, who does your agent pitch that and handle the deals, or how much were you involved in that?
Well, the good thing about writing novels is Hollywood is so ready for new material. Generally, they have people watching the New York publishers all the time, and they generally get early copies. Natchez Burning, because of the material, got read by everybody. There was a lot of interest. So I was actually on book tour when calls started coming in from major Hollywood actors asking if they could meet and talk to me, and I really didn't know what to think. I mean, it was the first time something like that had happened. Now, as far as pitching, the fun part is that the deal really got done when Tobey Maguire really got on board and loved it, and David Hudgens of Friday Night Lights. When those guys got involved, they're the ones who ultimately pitched it to where we landed, which is Amazon Studios. But all the players, we all sit at home and binge watch now, and I don't want to mention the networks, but almost all of them were involved, and so it really came down to Tobey and David making this deal happen. But I'm just glad to know that we got a home with a company that can give it a budget that will let us use real film actors, locations, and those things. Because when you're dealing with a real history, you don't want to do it wrong.
Yeah. And how much will you be involved in the production? Has production started yet?
Hasn't started. I mean, we're not quite greenlit yet, but it's a script series deal. I'm executive producing with the two guys I mentioned. So, I've been lucky that so far they've consulted us about most everything. A lot of times they don't want the writer anywhere near something. John Grisham gave me some advice once and said, hand them the book, cash the check, run as fast as you can and get away and never think about it again. And I've had an experience in Hollywood before where John was right. But because this is about Mississippi and it's about such a sensitive part of the past, I want to be involved, at least to the extent of making sure it's done right.
Right. Oh, cool. Well, thanks so much for speaking with us.
Thank you, Jessica.